Hello dear students, welcome to online CET class for NEET and Karnataka CET. In this video, I am going to discuss NCERT review on the topic Body Fluids and Circulation. This is 11th PU Biology topic in the Human Physiology section, and the topic deals with the study of different types of fluids present in the body and particularly about the structure and functioning of the heart. So let us move to the synopsis of body fluids and circulation. So topic is very important from the point of competitive exam. Let us move to the circulation. What is circulation? Circulation is transport of nutrients, oxygen and carbon dioxide, even excretory products to the concerned tissues or organs. During circulation, the nutrients are transported, oxygen is transported, carbon dioxide is transported, even along with the transportation of excretory products. And where these components are transported, they are transported to the concerned tissues or organs. For circulation, the simple organisms like the sponges and coelentrates, they use water from their surroundings because these lower organisms do not have any specific system for the circulation. Therefore, for the circulation of different components, the lower organisms are dependent on water which is present in their surrounding environment. Because sponges are available in the aquatic habitat or growing in the aquatic habitat, coelentrates are also adopted for the aquatic habitat. Therefore, water which is present in the surrounding environment, using that water, these organisms circulate the different materials. Whereas the complex organisms or the higher organisms, they have the particular system for the purpose of circulation. Complex organisms use body fluids such as blood and lymph for circulation. So in the human body, in the higher animal body, for the purpose of transportation of different components, the body fluids are present. And the two important body fluids are blood and lymph. Blood is colored body fluid and lymph is colorless body fluid. Lymph is also important fluid with reference to immunity. Then moving to the types of circulatory system. There are two types of circulatory systems, open type and closed type. What is the difference between open circulatory system and closed circulatory system? In open circulatory system, blood pumped by the heart passes through large vessels into open space or the body cavity called sinuses. This kind of circulatory system is called open circulatory system. When blood is pumped by the heart, finally it is released into the body cavity. This kind of circulatory system is called open circulatory system. It is found in arthropods as well as it is character of the mollusks. Both of them are invertebrates. They don't have backbone in their body. They show the characteristic feature open circulatory system. Then closed circulatory system, here when blood is pumped by the heart, it is circulated through blood vessels. Instead of releasing into the body cavity, here the blood circulates through the blood vessels. This kind of circulatory system is called closed type of circulatory system. And It is more advantageous as the flow of the blood can be preciously regulated. Where exactly that blood is circulating, the flow of the blood can be traced within the body because the blood is flowing within or circulating within the blood vessels, and this kind of the circulatory system is called closed type, which is the character of annelids as well as all the chordates, fishes, amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. All these vertebrates have the closed type of circulatory system where when blood is pumped by the heart, it is circulated through the blood vessels. The two images I have selected, this is in the body of grasshopper, and grasshopper is a member of arthropods. It is the body of earthworm. Earthworm is belonging to the group of annelids. This is having closed circulatory system. Where exactly that blood is pumped out, if it is released in the body cavity, the type of the circulatory system is open. If it rushes or circulates through the blood vessels, it is closed circulatory system. And moving to the, yes, this one is interesting. Comparative account of vertebrate heart. This you need to concentrate because all the chordates or vertebrates, they show the circulatory system. From fishes to mammals, the well developed circulatory system is present, but there is a difference in the structure of heart. Let us have a look on comparative account. In fishes, heart is two-chambered, an atrium, a ventricle. Atrium is nothing but auricle. One auricle and one ventricle is present. Therefore, the fish heart is of only two chambers. Then amphibians, characterized by three-chambered heart, two auricles or atria and one ventricle is present. So the number of chambers in the heart of amphibians is 3. Then reptiles, with the exception of crocodile, the heart is three-chambered. Even though crocodile belongs to the reptiles, but crocodile contains four-chambered heart. In reptiles, the incomplete partition of the ventricle is observed. Two auricles and partially divided ventricle is present. Therefore, the heart is represented by three chambers. Crocodiles from the group of reptiles, all the birds and mammals, they show four-chambered heart. Here exactly two auricles and two ventricles are present. So this is the comparative account of heart chambers from fishes to mammals, and all of them are belonging to chordates or vertebrates. In how many pattern the circulation in vertebrates is observed? The pattern of circulation in vertebrates are single circulation, incomplete double circulation and complete double circulation. When only two chambers are present, there is single circulation. When ventricle is partially divided or because of the presence of only three chambers, incomplete double circulation is observed, and complete double circulation is the character of all those organisms having four-chambered heart. So these are the three patterns of circulation in vertebrates. Moving to the parts of human circulatory system, it consists of blood vascular system and lymphatic system because the human body consists of two fluids. One is blood and another is lymph. The blood vascular system is represented by heart, pumping organ, blood, fluid tissue, blood vessels. These are the structures through which the blood circulates within the body. The blood is made up of two components, plasma and formed elements. Blood vessels are of three types, arteries, veins and capillaries. The lymph system or lymphatic system is represented by lymph vessels and lymph nodes. The formed elements are nothing but they are the different types of cells which are present in the blood plasma, and they are of three types, RBCs, WBCs and platelets. So composition of the blood, it consists of plasma and formed elements. The plasma represents 55% of the blood. It is straw colored and slightly alkaline, basic in nature. The pH is 7.4, and formed elements, that means the cells of the blood, they represent 45%, and this include the cells like RBC, WBC and platelets. RBCs are also called erythrocytes, WBCs are also called leukocytes, and platelets are also called thrombocytes. These are other names used to define the RBC, WBC and platelets. Erythrocytes for RBCs, leukocytes for WBCs, and thrombocyte is the term used for platelets. This is about composition of the blood. Then blood coagulation. What is the meaning of blood coagulation? Blood clotting, blood coagulation, both of them are the same terms. It is a mechanism for hemostasis, prevention of blood loss through the injuries is nothing but blood coagulation. Whenever body parts or the blood vessels are injured, to prevent the blood loss, whatever the mechanisms occur in the body, all of them are collectively known as hemostasis with reference to prevention of blood loss through the injuries, that is nothing but blood coagulation. When body tissues are injured, the clumped platelets and tissues, they release thromboplastin, and this thromboplastin forms thrombokinase from prothrombinase enzyme. In the presence of calcium and hydrolases, prothrombin into thrombin and fibrinogen. In the presence of thrombin, the soluble fibrinogen is converted into insoluble fibrin. This traps the dead and damaged formed elements, finally results in the formation of clot, also known as coagulum. This is how the blood coagulation occur in the body, and the type of the reactions of blood coagulation are called the cascade reaction. Every element, it helps in the conversion of another element required for the next reaction. And one point to remember, which metal ions are required for blood clotting, it is nothing but calcium. Then finally, thrombin is the enzyme or the component which converts soluble fibrinogen into insoluble fibrin. This is about the blood clotting process. Then in humans, the 4 different types of blood groups are present, discovered by Karl Landsteiner, and classification or the categorization of the blood groups is made on the basis of antigen present on the RBCs and antibodies present in the blood plasma. So the 4 blood groups in humans are A, B, AB and O. The person with A blood group contains A antigen on RBC and B antibody in the blood plasma and can donate the blood to A and AB can receive the blood from A and O. The person with B blood group contains B antigen on the RBCs and antibody A in the blood plasma and can donate the blood to A, B and AB, receive the blood from B and O. If the person's blood group is AB, the antigens on the surface of RBC are both A and B and no antibodies in the blood plasma, and this person or any person with the AB blood group can donate the blood group to only AB and can receive the blood from AB and O. If the person's blood group is O, the antigens are completely absent on RBCs and antibodies are present, both antibody A and antibody B, and can donate the blood to AB and O, can receive the blood from only O blood group. Theoretically, AB blood group is the universal acceptor blood group and O blood group is the universal donor blood group. These two things you need to remember only for the purpose of theoretical aspects. AB is the universal acceptor blood group and O is the universal donor blood group. Apart from these antigens, one more antigen called RH antigen. It is also present on the surface of RBC. The RH antigen finally determines whether the blood group is positive or the blood group is negative. RBC surface with RH antigen, the respective blood groups becomes positive. RBC surface without RH antigen, the respective blood groups becomes negative. And nearly 80% of the humans are having RH antigen on the RBC and their blood group is positive. But what happens when positive and negative blood cells fuse in the body if the mother is pregnant for the second time? If the baby blood is not similar to the mother of this fetus is having negative blood group, that means she is not having RH antigen on the RBC, but her growing baby, the baby which is growing in her fetus, is having positive blood group. What happens? During parturition, that means giving birth to the baby, by chance due to placental damage, if the baby's blood, that means positive blood, mixes with the blood of mother who is negative for her blood group, in her body anti-RH antibodies will be developed. When she becomes pregnant for the second time, if the baby's blood group is again positive, the antibodies which are produced in the mother body, they attack the fetus only for the positive blood group, and it results in erythroblastosis fetalis. Erythrocytes are nothing but RBCs. They burst out. Fetalis means death of the fetus. And this is only happening or happens when the positive and negative blood mixes in the body of a mother and they attack the baby during second pregnancy, because already in the mother body the negative or the antibodies are produced for the positive blood group, and this results in the death of the fetus due to bursting of the RBCs, which is called erythroblastosis fetalis. Then moving to the next one, types of the blood vessels. Depending on the diameter and the function, the blood vessels are classified into three types: arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries are the blood vessels. They carry the blood from heart to other tissues. They carry blood away from the heart to other tissues. They contain oxygenated blood with one exception, pulmonary artery. Their smaller branches are called arterioles. This is the point to concentrate to solve the MCQs. Arteries have three layers. Tunica intima, it is the inner layer and made up of squamous endothelium. Tunica media, middle layer made up of smooth muscles and elastic fibers. Tunica externa, outer layer made up of fibrous connective tissue with collagen fibers. So this is about arteries. Similarly, veins, they carry the blood towards the heart. The blood vessel which carries the blood away from the heart to the tissues are nothing but arteries. And veins are the blood vessels, they carry the blood towards the heart. They contain deoxygenated blood with one exception, pulmonary vein. Their smaller branches are called venules. The branches of the arteries are called arterioles and the branches of the veins are called venules. And like the arteries, the veins are also having three-layered but tunica media is comparatively thin. This is the point to remember. What is this tunica media? It is the middle layer made up of smooth muscles and elastic fibers. The thickness of tunica media is a little bit thin in case of veins as compared to the arteries. Then finally, capillaries. In tissues, arterioles divide into thin-walled and single-layered vessels. They are called capillaries and they unite into venules. That's what this particular image is selected here. This is artery. Branches of the arteries are arterioles. Further, they become too thin and they give rise to the formation of capillaries. Then these capillaries unite to form the venule and venule join to form the vein. So this is how the blood vessels are connected to each and every cell which is present in the body and they are involved in the circulation or the conduction of blood through them. Then moving to the structure of human heart. Heart is derived from the mesoderm. It is located in the mediastinum. It is the part in the chest cavity or thoracic cavity between the two lungs. The heart is located in the chest cavity. The part of the chest cavity where the heart is located, that part is called mediastinum. Remember, heart is originated or derived from the mesoderm. The heart is protected by double-layered pericardium. The protective covering of the heart is pericardium. The pericardial space between the pericardial membrane is filled with the pericardial fluid. It reduces the friction between the heart walls and surrounding tissue because continuously from the time of the formation of embryo, when the first heartbeat will start and it will continue till the last breath of the individual and continuously it is in the pumping condition. Whatever the pressure or the friction is caused due to the pumping and beating movement of the heart, that friction is reduced with the help of pericardial fluid and pericardial fluid is present between the pericardial membrane. So this is the complete sectional view of human heart. Let us enter into the heart parts and what are the parts of the human heart. Heart consists of totally 4 chambers, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Right atrium, that is right auricle, left atrium and left auricle, 2 ventricles, right ventricle and left ventricle. Auricles are upper chambers of the heart, ventricles are lower chambers of the heart. Auricles are smaller in size as compared to the ventricles and Left ventricle is a little bit more thicker than that of right ventricle as compared to the thickness of valves. The different blood vessels and valves are between the right auricle and right ventricle. There is presence of tricuspid valve. Between left auricle and left ventricle, there is presence of bicuspid valve, and bicuspid valve is also known as mitral valve. Remember, the tricuspid and bicuspid valves are also known as AV valves because they are present between auricle and ventricle. A for auricle or atrium, V for ventricle. As these valves are located between auricle and ventricle, they are called the AV valves. Here is the very clear image of tricuspid valve, and here it is bicuspid valve. Why these valves are named so? Because when it opens, it is opening through the three flaps or three partitions, and here only two flaps are produced, therefore it is called bicuspid or mitral valve. Then the different blood vessels from the right ventricle, the pulmonary vein, here it is marked, pulmonary vein arises from the base of right ventricle, and this carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs for the purpose of purification. Like that, from the left ventricle, the biggest blood vessel of the human body arises, and it is called the aorta. Let me do the correction, sorry. The pulmonary artery, here you can see the arrow mark. The pulmonary artery arises from the right ventricle and it brings the deoxygenated blood to lungs. Pulmonary veins are bringing oxygenated blood to left auricle. Here the opening of pulmonary veins is marked. So aorta is arising from the base of left ventricle, which carries oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. Apart from that, superior vena cava, which brings the deoxygenated blood from upper parts of the body and it is liberated into right atrium. Inferior vena cava, it brings deoxygenated blood from lower parts of the body, that is also liberated or discharged into the right atrium. That means complete right part of the heart is involved in the conduction of deoxygenated blood. It receives the deoxygenated blood as well as it pumps the deoxygenated blood, whereas the left part of the heart is concerned with receiving and pumping of oxygenated blood. So as explained earlier, the heart is covered by a protective covering called pericardium. Apart from that, two more valves are very important. Between pulmonary artery and right ventricle, there is presence of semilunar valve. Why these valves are called semilunar? Because when this valve opens, it appears like half moon shaped structure. Therefore, semilunar valve. Even between aorta and left ventricle also, there is presence of semilunar valve. Here you can see this is tricuspid, three clear flaps can be observed. This is bicuspid, two clear flaps can be observed. Here you can see the C-shaped structure. This is representation of semilunar valve. So these are different parts with respect to the study of human heart. Then moving to next one, conducting system of heart, the most important bit to concentrate for the multiple choice questions. It is including the nodal tissues and bundles and fibers. What is this conducting system of the heart? The message for the heartbeat is generated within the heart itself. The cardiac muscles which are present in the heart, they generate the impulses for the conduction and origin of the heartbeat, that is representing conducting system of the heart. So nodal tissues are specialized cardiac muscles which are present in the heart wall. And the nodal tissues are of two types. What are those? Sinoatrial node. In short, it is called SAN. It is present in right upper corner of the right atrium. And another is atrioventricular node. It is known as AVN, present in the lower left corner of the right atrium and close to the ventricular septum. So let us have a look on the conducting system of the heart. This is sinoatrial node located in the upper part of right auricle or right atrium. SAN is known as pacemaker because it generates the impulses. Impulses means messages. It generates the impulses for the contraction of heart chambers on an average 70 to 75 per minute, so that it is called pacemaker. Rhythmically, it generates the constant impulses for the beating of the heart for the pumping purpose. Therefore, the sinoatrial node is called pacemaker. From the sinoatrial node, the three fibers, they bring the impulses to AVN, which is nothing but atrioventricular node. Where it is located? It is located in the lower left corner of right atrium. From AVN, there is a delay of 0.3 seconds. It delays for 0.3 seconds, and further it sends the impulses to bundle of His, and this bundle of His, it branches in two separate branches. One is right bundle branch and another is left bundle branch. Finally, from these branches, the minute branches arise. They are known as Purkinje fibers. The Purkinje fibers cover only ventricle walls. They are not extended to the auricles. Remember, these fibers are covering or they are spreading only on the ventricle wall. That is why ventricles are the pumping chambers of heart. And these Purkinje fibers are the final structures of conducting system. Generating system is only SAN, sinoatrial node. This particular part generates the impulses for heartbeat. It is received by AVN, transferred to the bundle of His, then it branches to right bundle branch and left bundle branch. Finally, the impulse is received by Purkinje fibers. This is the only system which is responsible for the proper contraction, rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the heart chambers. Then moving to the cardiac cycle, how exactly the heart muscles work under the impulses generated and transported by pacemaker, that is nothing but SAN. The cardiac cycle, it is the cyclic contraction and relaxation of the heart for pumping the blood. When two auricles contract, the ventricles will be in the relaxed state. When two ventricles contract, the auricles will be in the relaxed state. The phases of cardiac cycle are joint diastole, atrial systole and ventricular systole. Diastole means relaxed state, systole means contracted state. So all the four chambers of the heart, they remain in the relaxed state This is called joint diastole, and it is the relaxed state of all the heart chambers. Both the auricles and both the ventricles will be in the relaxed state. When the tricuspid and bicuspid valves open, blood from pulmonary vein and vena cava flows into left and right ventricles respectively through the left and right atria. Semilunar valves are closed. What to remember? During jointed diastole, the semilunar valves are in the closed condition. Only partial opening of the tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve occur, and blood is transported or loaded into the ventricles. At the same time, auricles are also receiving the blood, ventricles are also receiving the blood, but thing is that ventricles do not pump the blood into blood vessels because semilunar valves are in the closed condition. All the four chambers of the heart will be in the relaxed state. This is called joint diastole. It is possible because of the position of the heart in the human body. Then atrial or auricular systole. When both the auricles contract, what happens? When both the auricles contract, the atria contract result in the increase of flow of blood into the ventricles by about 30%. During the joint diastole also, the blood is loaded into the ventricles but very slow. That transfer of the blood flow increases by 30% when both the auricles contract. When both the auricles contract, the tricuspid and bicuspid valves are opened so that the blood flows into ventricles. Then ventricular systole. Ventricular systole is nothing but a contraction of both the ventricles. Remember, when ventricles contract, there is opening of the semilunar valves. Here it is mentioned. The semilunar valves are opened during ventricular systole, but tricuspid and bicuspid valves are closed. How to remember? Auricular contraction, opening of tricuspid and bicuspid valve, ventricular contraction, opening of the semilunar valve, and opposite valves will be in the closed condition. So ventricular contraction, ventricular systole results in pumping of the blood into the blood vessels, and it is carried to all the body parts through the aorta and to the lungs from or with the help of pulmonary artery. Then the total cardiac cycle, this is interesting. One cardiac cycle is represented by 0.8 seconds. The total time taken for the completion of one cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds, and one heartbeat is equal to one cardiac cycle. So joint diastole, complete cardiac diastole, where all the four chambers are in the relaxed state, the time taken is 0.4 seconds. Auricular systole, contraction of the auricles only for 0.1 second, and ventricular systole only for 0.3 seconds. So very least time is taken for auricular contraction because they are smaller chambers of the heart. To complete one cardiac cycle, the time required is 0.8 seconds, and every cardiac cycle represents one heartbeat. So normal heartbeat is 70 to 75. On an average, it is considered 72 per minute. Remember, every impulse to generate the heartbeat, that is contraction and relaxation, rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the heart chambers, is controlled by SAN located in the right atrium. That is why it is called pacemaker. And heart sounds, the cardiac cycle or heart sounds are generated because of the closing of valves of the heart, not due to the opening. During each cardiac cycle, the two sounds are produced. Always, the first sound is lub, this you need to remember, and produced due to the closing of tricuspid and bicuspid valves. Lub, LTB. How to remember? LCTB. L for lub, C for close, T for tricuspid, B for bicuspid. LCTB. Lub sound is produced due to the closing of tricuspid and bicuspid valves. And second sound of the heartbeat is dup, and it is produced due to the closing of semilunar valves. When semilunar valves are closed, when auricles contract, the auricular systole, atrial systole, result in the closing of semilunar valves that produces the sound dub, and it is the second sound of the heartbeat. When tricuspid and bicuspid valves are closed, when the tricuspid and bicuspid valves are closed during the contraction, systolic condition of the ventricles, therefore one heartbeat is represented by one lub and one dub. The lub is produced due to closing of tricuspid and bicuspid valves, and dub is produced due to the closing of semilunar valves. So these are the two sounds of the heart. Even you can concentrate on the image to remember which valves are closed and which one is the first and second heart sound. Then electrocardiograph, that is ECG, the machine which is used to obtain electrocardiogram. The electrocardiogram is the graphical representation of the electrical activity of the heart during every cardiac cycle. How much potential is generated during the auricular contraction and during the ventricular contraction, that is measured with the help of a graphical representation. This is called electrocardiogram, and this machine is electrocardiograph. To get an ECG, a patient is connected to the machine with 3 electrical leads, 1 to each wrist and 2 to the ankle, that monitor heart activity for a detailed evaluation of heart function, and multiple leads are attached to the chest region. Here is the representation of a standard ECG. This is P wave. This you need to concentrate for CET as well as NEET examination. So first wave is P wave. What this represents? P wave represents excitation or depolarization of the atria, which causes atrial systole. When auricles contract, this much of potential is generated, and this is the representation of P wave. QRS complex. The QRS complex represents depolarization of ventricles which occur during ventricular systole. Then T wave represents repolarization of the ventricles. When ventricles reach to relaxed state, the T wave is generated. Look at the wave. This is becoming slowly narrow or decreasing. This represents the repolarization of the ventricles. This is normal heartbeat ECG. This is first heartbeat. This fast heartbeat. Just you can see the difference. You can judge the ECG by comparing with the normal heartbeat ECG. There is very rhythmic distance or the gap is observed. Here the waves QRS complex is repeatedly produced with short distance, and slow heartbeat there is much long gap between the two QRS complex. And irregular heartbeat, no clarity. Just compare this one with this normal ECG. Long T wave and without gap. Again there is P wave is not clear here, only QRS complex. This kind of the ECG represents the irregular heartbeat. So whether the heart is in the normal functioning condition or not, that can be identified with the help of ECG. Then the double circulation. The double circulation is observed in all those organisms having four-chambered heart, and it is called double circulation because blood flows through the heart twice for completing its circuit. So through the heart, the two times circulation of the blood is observed. Hence it is called double circulation. One is pulmonary circulation and another is systemic circulation. So in pulmonary circulation, the deoxygenated blood circulation is observed from right ventricle to from right auricle to right ventricle. This is here right atrium to right ventricle. Then deoxygenated blood is carried to pulmonary artery. It is transported or liberated, discharged, flow into the lungs where the oxygen is supplied or purification occurs. Oxygenated blood is carried by the pulmonary vein, and that oxygenated blood is supplied to the left atrium or left auricle. Then it is flowing into the left ventricle with the opening of bicuspid valve. From the left ventricle, aorta arises, and through the aorta the smaller branches, arteries are produced, and finally oxygenated blood is supplied to the body tissues. From the body tissues, deoxygenated blood is collected by the veins. Both superior and inferior vena cava carry that deoxygenated blood to right atrium. The receiving and pumping of deoxygenated blood. The receiving and pumping of deoxygenated blood. This complete part is pulmonary circulation, and receiving and pumping of oxygenated blood, this represents systemic circulation. For both the purposes, two times blood flows through the heart, hence the mechanism is called double circulation, and credit of discovering this goes to Sir William Harvey. Then last bit of the chapter, disorders of the circulatory system, hypertension, high blood pressure, and this is because of the pressure exerted by circulating blood on the wall of the blood vessels, that is nothing but blood pressure. The normal BP is 120/80 mm of Hg. It includes the systolic, that is pumping pressure 120, and diastolic. When heart chambers, particularly when ventricles are contracted, the pressure will be more, it is 120, and when ventricles are relaxed, pressure is 80. So 120/80 mm Hg is the normal value of blood pressure. When the blood pressure is higher than normal BP, it is called hypertension, more than normal BP. If an individual repeatedly has the BP of 140/90 or above, shows the hypertension, it leads to heart diseases and affects the vital organs like brain and kidney. So normally it is 120/80. When this value exceeds, it is nothing but hypertension. And the image which you can see, it is sphygmomanometer, the machine which is used to measure the blood pressure. Then CAD, coronary artery disease, or the very commonly using term is atherosclerosis. What happens here? The calcium, fat and cholesterol or fibrous tissue deposited in the coronary arteries, that is the blood vessels of heart. It makes the lumen of arteries narrow and thereby affects the blood supply. Naturally, when the diameter of the blood vessel decreases, the pumping pressure will be more exerted on the heart. That also leads to heart problems. So coronary artery disease, short form is CAD, It is also called atherosclerosis, where the blockage of the blood vessels occur especially due to the deposition of cholesterol. Then angina pectoris, what is this? It is an acute chest pain due to oxygen deficiency to the heart muscles. If oxygen is not properly supplied to the heart muscles, why it happens or why it occurs? Because when blood vessels are blocked, the proper supply of the blood is not occurring or not possible to the myocardium. So when oxygen is not properly supplied to the cardiac muscles, it results in angina or angina pectoris. It occurs due to improper blood flow, maybe due to the blockage of blood vessel, and it is common among middle-aged and elderly people. In both middle-aged and elderly people, this problem can be observed. So this is about NCERT review of the topic body fluids and circulation. Hope explained part is clear for you. Thank you.